Alright, welcome back everyone. Average Player here. Promise. Promise. Last deck profile for Phantom Knights. But the reason why I did more than one, like you would normally do when you play. You don't just play, you don't make the deck, and then you just sit there and just, that's my build. No, you make changes to it. That's what you do. You know, unlike every other Yugi tuber, they sit there and they make the deck, and they're like, after a while, let's just, make another deck profile 2.5 months later when the next ban list comes out. Nah, I'm not going to be that person. So, I'm going to play Phantom. I've been playing Phantom Knights for a while now. I do have other decks, I promise. As shown, I do have a Salamangreat deck profile. I will probably be playing that again at Locals again soon. I don't know when, honestly. It's still a good deck, and it's still relevant. I have Rocket Dragon Link. I'm building Cyber Dragon, and I'm building an Unknown, which I'm going to wait to surprise you guys with when I drop the video of the deck profile. But my Phantom Knights and the experiences of going through this, I played this at Locals for the past probably 4 or 5 weeks. When I dropped my first deck profile, it was after I went to my first Locals, and I came in third. I think it was like 3rd out of 15 or something like that, so it's pretty good. It had its issues. I tried addressing it in the next deck profile, which it did help, honestly. And that Locals, right after that, I came in third again. So I'm really consistent with third place, man. I don't know why, but I came in third place with it. And ever since that last one, I only went to 2 Locals out of the 3 weeks that it's been since I posted that last video on the deck profile. But yeah, I went third place in the one 3 weeks ago after I made my other deck profile, and then literally last Sunday, I came in second with it. And this deck profile that I used to come in second, it was 3-1. We didn't have that much of a showing this time, unlike some other ones. Sometimes we get like really like rad, wicked showings, 12 to 15 people. Sometimes we got like 8. One time we got like 18 people. I think one time we had 20 people. So we can get the people. It's just, football's on now, so more people aren't really showing up. And our place does Locals on a Sunday, and there's another place close to me that does Locals on a Tuesday, but that's farther away than this place. And more people go to the other one, which would be better, but that's like an hour drive. This one's like 10 minutes away from my house. So, alright, obviously we got the side deck, extra deck, main deck. I'm going to go over all of them. The side deck has changed. The extra deck has changed, I think, since the last deck profile. Don't quote me on it. Alright, and the main deck has actually changed a lot. So we're going to go over it. This hasn't changed. You're going to play 3 Torn Scales. You play 3, it's your starter, it's your extender. It does everything. You normal summon it as an effect, not on summon, but while it's on the field. So you can discard a card to send a Phantom Knight monster to the graveyard. Hard once per turn. And then if it's in your graveyard and a Phantom Knight card, it doesn't say the Phantom Knights. No, it says a Phantom Knight card is banished. So you can banish one of your traps and its effect will proc to special summon itself, and that is also a hard once per turn. Next, this is where one of the cards has changed. I play 1 Ancient Cloak now. Ancient Cloak is okay. It doesn't do anything in your hand. It doesn't do anything on the field. I mean, yeah, you can use it on a normal summon, or after you special summon it back from the graveyard, or use Levy or whatever to bring it back to the field. But the card I took out 1 Ancient Cloak. The card I added in was Stained Greaves. Stained Greaves is good. It does something in your hand. It does something in the graveyard. Ancient Cloak doesn't do anything in your hand, but it does something in the graveyard. That's why I decided to play 1 and 1. I'm going to try it. I tried it out, and it actually works. The Stained Greaves just special summons itself when a Phantom Knight monster special summon. Rad. It works really well. It's nice. Alright. Now for the last 3 Phantom Knight cards we play, I also cut this card down to 2 Silent Boots. I cut it down from 3 because 3, you saw it too much in your opening hand. And if you saw more than 1 copy of it, I mean, you can normal summon, special summon, but that's it. I mean, you're almost forced to use it in your opening hand. It's good in the graveyard, but putting it down to 2, I feel like was the better option, because if it's in the graveyard, it adds a Phantom Knight monster. It special summons itself from your hand. If you control a Phantom Knight monster, and that's why it's a little bit better than the Stained Greaves, which I have at 1, and the Silent Boots, which is at 2, because this can just randomly special summon itself. and the Stangreaves can only special summon itself when once special summoned. Alright, and then the last Phantom Knight card is Gloves. You don't want to see this card in your opening hand. Never, ever, 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 ever. Doesn't matter how many times I say it, how many times I record Phantom Knight videos. Never want to see this card in your opening hand. You do? It's most likely going to lead to a bad hand. Unless you have your Torn Scales in your hand as well, and you can normal summon the Torn Scales to get this piece of trash out of your hand. You know, that's like the only option it's good for is in your graveyard. That's why you play 1. You want to send this off of your Torn Scales from your deck to the graveyard using Torn Scales, or you want to send it off of Rusty Bardiche. This only can banish to add or send a Phantom Knight card from your deck to the graveyard, which is good if you have Phantom Knight cards in your graveyard. That's why you don't want to see it in your hand, because it doesn't do anything. Next, you must play 3 Kagemuchi Knight, and I say must because even though if you don't see it, because you see a lot of your Phantom Knight cards and other cards like Itelli and your Psychic monsters or the Burning Abyss monsters first, Kagemuchi Knight, it's good. It helps you chain lock into your Tour Guide. If you have Kagemuchi Knight in your hand and Tour Guide, you normal summon Tour Guide, then you chain the special summon Kagemuchi Knight. So Kagemuchi Knight is an effect that procs the special summon itself. So it'll chain the Tour Guide special summon, and since it changed to the Tour Guide special summon, Tour Guide can't be responded to because they have to respond to Kagemuchi Knight special summon first. Alright. And speaking of the devil, 1, 2, 3 Tour Guide. I've seen some deck profiles where they cut this down to 2. I don't like that. I want to see this card. Do I want to see it more than once? No. But seeing Tour Guide's good. You open it, you basically got combo, which is, very obvious. Tour Guide's a very good card. So this obviously you can normal summon this, chain Kagemuchi Knight if you have it. If not, you can just special summon anything else like your Burning Abyss monsters. Next, we are only playing 2 Psychic monsters like normal, Wielder and Tracker. They're good even if they're in your hand, and you can also special summon out with Itelli. So I only play 2. I see some decks playing 1 Wielder, 2 Tracker, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, Itelli's at 2, so you could, just in case, because, Itelli's not once per turn. But B, you can special summon one of these bad boys from your hand. Say you drew a Tracker, and then you can Itelli for a Wielder and Itelli for another Tracker. I mean, that's fine, so it doesn't make one of your Itellis dead. But it's not really dead in this hand, or in this deck, because if Itelli's in your hand and you already got both your Psychic monsters from your deck to the field, or you had one in your hand and you special summon the other one, it's not really dead because you can just discard it off Dragoon. So, next we play the little Burning Abyss engine, obviously. Graf, Skarm, Seer. Okay, and the reason why I play these bad boys is you're going to use Cherubini when it's on the field to send your Graf for cost. Your Graf's going to special, depending on what you want to do for your plays, if you want to extend, you're going to special summon Seer. So when Seer and Cherubini are linked away, Seer can special summon Cherubini, and you're just going to make Appaloosa off of that. If you want to sit there and you want to know that you're going to sit on Dragoon and you want to have an extra card in your hand because you have to because you have to use more resources to be able to make your combo and go into combo, Skarm. Because Skarm will add the Seer at the end of the turn, and then when you discard Seer for Dragoon, Seer will allow you to special summon back your Cherubini. And then also allowing you to go into full combo the next turn. We play the tiny, tiny, tiny Danger engine. The only 2 level 3s that Dangers have. Suchi, Snek, and Jackalope. I don't need to explain these cards. Everybody knows what they do. So next we play 2 kind of spicy cards. Junk Forward. Special summons itself if I control no monsters. So good. It's level 3. Warriors, you can add it off of Rhoda and Sangan. This is your general target for Tour Guide. Unless Sangan's in your hand, then it's kind of dead. But if you Tour Guide into a Sangan, so if you special summon Sangan off a Tour Guide, link it away, you're going to probably get your Ash Blossom and your Effect Veiler to your hand. Which, actually, coming up is Ash Blossom and Effect Veiler. So I'm just going to plop the bad boys on the field, on the table. They're good. Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, they are good. You play them. These are the only 4 hand traps I play, or quote-unquote 2, because the same hand trap just twice. But you can add them both off of Sangan, and since you add them both off of Sangan, even though you can't use them on your turn, doesn't really matter. Your opponent's turn's next turn. You just use it then. And obviously, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Dark Magician. I did say you're playing Dragoon, so you can expect that. The Red Eyes Fusion somewhere in here a little farther down, but I'll get to it pretty soon. Next, 1 Rhoda. And I said 2 E-Telly because you're playing 2 E-Telly. Ah, big surprise. Not really. Don't need to explain what these cards do. Everybody knows what they do. So here's actually one of the cards I put in the deck recently, and I think it's actually a good addition. I didn't see it at locals once, even though it would have been great. It's another target I can use off of Verte Anaconda, but it's going to lock me out from not being able to get out the other card that I want to be able to get out. So, whatever. But Instant Fusion. Pay 1,000 life points, special summon a level 5 or lower monster from your extra deck. And you'll see what that is when I get to my extra deck. Alright, next we play 1 blowout card called by the Grave. Now, I'm lying. We play Lightning Storm too. There's 2 blowout cards. Called by the Grave. It helps when your opponent tries to hand trap you. Only bad thing is your opponent can cross out this card. If they play Called by the Grave as well, but they have cross out Designator, yeah, your Called by the Grave is getting negated, which is not fun. But the Lightning Storm, you're going second. If your opponent's playing a very big spell heavy deck, or spell and trap heavy deck, you can just Lightning Storm. If your opponent doesn't have any spell and trap negations, like Phantom Knights fails to do, and you can just blow up all the monsters in the field, you use Lightning Storm to blow up the monsters. And then, obviously, I said Red Eyes Fusion was in here, so there's your Red Eyes Fusion. Next is the traps. Okay, so I have 1 trap card in here that I have added in. It is very spicy. Very, very, very spicy. And it's at the end, so you'll have to wait to see. Obviously, you're playing Phantom Knights. You got to play 3 Fogblade, man. Alright, it's a good card. Targets monster, negates its effects, and then also it cannot attack. And it cannot be targeted for attack and cannot attack. So it's good in the sense that it can be used offensively to make your opponent's monster lose its effects, and defensively to make your monster not be targeted for attack or make your opponent's monster not be able to attack. So it's a good card. Banish it from your graveyard. Special summon a Phantom Knight monster from your graveyard. Alright, next one, Sword. Banish it from your graveyard. Special summon a Phantom Knight. Also, cheeky thing I learned. If you set a Sword and you have another Fogblade down, you can activate Sword, target Appaloosa. Say your Appaloosa already has 4 negates. You can target your Appaloosa with Sword, because Appaloosa can be targeted by card effects. And Sword makes Appaloosa gain 800 attack. Which, by Appaloosa's effect, she gains another 800 attack. Now she has 5 negates on her, which aren't once per turn. And she's at 4k attack. So you can beat over Dragoon like that. Say your opponent draws something and they don't want to discard it because of Dragoon. You just activate Sword, do that. Because they already know that if they activate Dragoon, you should negate it anyway, and then bring it back to 4 negates. So it's kind of pointless for your opponent to activate anything on Sword if you're just going to negate it with Appaloosa. Unless they have, like, Orcus Crescendo or Salamangreat Great Roar. But other than that, whatever. And then next, One Shade Brigadine. Obviously. Good card. Set it, no traps, special, activate it, special summons itself. Alright. Next is the card that I'm going to say it really should be banned. I played it just for this last locals. I'm playing it again this next locals. And since I've been playing it, I agree that it should be banned. Okay, it's broke. And it's dumb good. Imperial Order. With my luck, I played Sky Striker first round at locals. Lost first round because he was able to just keep poking over my guys and have Mystic Mine on the field. Next round, top decked Imperial Order. Drew Imperial Order in my first hand. Next round after that, same thing, Imperial Order. If you guys are wondering what decks I played against at my locals, I played against first round Sky Striker. Second round, I really couldn't tell you. I don't remember. All I know is it was just a quick duel, but it was a 2-1. Every single game I played last week was a 2-1 because I ended up just not getting what I needed first round. Second and third round, OTKs. Third round, I ended up playing against Trap Trick, which actually was a weird matchup against my deck because my deck is, basically really trap heavy. And yeah, it basically helped the deck out more than hurt it. So the side out for that deck was weird, but, when I get into my side deck later, I'll show you what I sided in and out for specific matchups. But game 4, I played against Necrozz Drytron, which is actually really degenerate, really broken. He said on a Unicorn, I misplayed really bad the first round. But anyway, let's get into this extra deck now. Link Spider. First Link Monster, Second Link Monster, Predaplant, Vertanaconda. Alright, I don't need to explain what Vertanaconda does now. Everybody knows that it should be banned because the card is absolutely dumb. Cherubini, Rusty Bardiche, Nightmare Unicorn, and Appaloosa Bow of Goddess. Your opponent Nibiru's you. Link Spider gets rid of the token. Vertanaconda, we already know what that's for. Cherubini, it starts your combo to climb up into this guy. Nightmare Unicorn, if you are really in a freaking pickle, it can get rid of a whole bunch of other cards. Gets rid of anything as long as it can be targeted. The card, the fusion monster, the instant fusion targets, which is Sea Monster of Theseus. Instant fusion, you can just plop this guy out to zombie fusion. Special wording here, tuner. So why is it good to be a tuner in this deck? Well, 3 + 5 = 8. You activate instant fusion before you activate your Vertanaconda. Special summon the Sea King of Theseus. Special summon another level 3 monster so you can get your Torn Scales to the field, or, your Cloak or whatever, and then you get to make one of the cards coming up. Obviously, the next fusion monster is Dragoon. Don't need to explain it. But I'm going to keep that Theseus out in the field real quick because you're going to use the Sea King of Theseus because it's a tuner monster, level 5. Alright. And then you're going to have a level 3 monster as well. You're going to make Borreload Savage Dragon. Now, very niche. But it makes your board harder to break when you have that Dragoon, which is an Omni-Negate. And then you can also make a Borreload Savage Dragon before the Dragoon comes out. And your Borreload Savage Dragon is probably going to have 2 negates on it. Because you're going to have a Cherubini in the graveyard. You're going to have 2 negates. 100% you're going to have 2 negates on this bad boy. I don't think Cherubini has much attack, so it's not going to really... Yeah, he's just going to gain 250 attack. But still, you can have a 3250 guy who can negate anything once per turn for twice. So that's what you use the Sea King of Theseus to do. Next is for the Xyz monsters. We do play a few. So, 1 Break Sword. Why not more than 1? It's okay, but I don't really use it for going into my Dark Rebellion, into the Dark Requiem anymore. If you notice, I don't have like a magic card in this deck anymore. So, obviously, I'm still going to play the Draco Future and the Utopic Future, but 1 Levier the Sea Dragon, 2 Levier the Sea Dragon. Alright, it's good. Make it 2 level 3 monsters. Special summon it back one of your level 3 monsters. Number 5, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. It's a weird kind of negate, should I say, because Gossip Shadow doesn't target. Say they use the Dragoon's effect to blow up a card. And let's say they don't have a card in their hand and negate Gossip Shadow. You can chain Gossip Shadow's effect to detach both its materials to make Dragoon's effect come from pop to both players draw a card and discard a card. So it's technically a negate because that effect that they're doing becomes another effect and it doesn't target. Future, just regular Utopic Future, then Draco Future, obviously. If you guys want a combo video, let me know in the comments. Alright, now on to the side deck. So, it's a good side deck. I didn't really change much. I took out 1 card for another card. That was it. Couldn't tell you what the card was. I don't remember. First card side deck, Gamshiel. It's good for anything. You can literally side out an Ash Blossom for Gamshiel. Whatever. So you're playing the Trap Chicks matchup where Gamshiel works. Instead of Imperial Order, you can just tribute off one of his cards. Gamshiel him. So that way you have a card. Say you have Dragoon, you can just blow it up. And they take that damage. Next, Raigeki. Just in case. Because obviously you're playing that Lightning Storm. If you're playing more of a monster-heavy deck, one of the ones that's like Phantom Knights and just negates monster effects all the time and doesn't negate spell cards. Raigeki. This is mostly for the mirror match. I never see mirror matches. We get Raigeki's for that. Harpy's Feather Duster. Because Lightning Storm does the same thing as Harpy's Feather Duster too. Because the card's really good. Harpy's Feather Duster is just able to do it whenever. You just have to control no monsters for Lightning Storm. But Harpy's Feather Duster is for those trap-heavy decks like Trap Trick or any other trap stall deck. You're basically going to side out an Imperial Order for it. Next, for other decks that like the combo, even though this doesn't really do much to Drytron Contact C, this is one most people just like, why? Because decks like Prank Kids can't play unless they're playing Nightmare Unicorn. Tri-Brigade has a problem with this card because it just makes it to where you can special summon it to your opponent's side of the field, but they can't XC, Fusion, Synchro, Link, anything unless they use this card as a material. So unless they play generic links, you're going to have a problem with it. You activate this card against Virtual World, you're just helping them out. It's a level 6. Next is a card I added in since last time I did a side deck video, 3-Droll and Lockbird. Stops Drytron. It doesn't really do anything to Phantom Knight. Salamangreats laugh at it. You know how it is. Rocket Dragon Link kind of laugh at it. kind of. I mean, they do like to add cards from their deck to their hand, but they also like to special summon from their deck. Next, my money, my baby, 3 Solemn Judgment. Sided these out in the Trap Tricks matchup. When it came to siding cards, I really didn't side in anything against anyone. This is the deck profile. I'm going to make a different offering since, I am being a curse and basically making a new Phantom Knights deck profile. It seems like every other fucking video. So, if this video itself can get 20 likes, alright, I will bring you guys to my locals and I will record some of my matches and then I'll make a video on it. So 20 likes on this video, and that's going to happen. And I will play Phantom Knights. Maybe. Depending on when this video hits 20 likes. Yeah. Also, let me guys know how the video editing is. It's my first video that I will be editing because I finally got editing software. Feedback's always nice. Also, like, comment, and subscribe. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great day. And see ya.